Hey everybody, it's drive of the 2021 BMW M5. We're going to take a look around it here in the garage, then head out on the road and do a little drive around our test loop. So the BMW M5, this is the competition package, giving us 617 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque from this brutal 4.4 liter twin turbocharged V8 engine. Here in Voodoo Blue Metallic, this thing looks so sweet, and the loud color matches the loud BMW M Performance exhaust that this thing has. Being an M5 sedan, at the end of the day, this thing has livable amounts of cargo space. You can see nice big boot here, a little bit of storage along the sides, powered, and even foldable rear seats. So you can pull those back and put in some larger items should you need. Same story in the back seat, plenty of space. We can pull that down. Look at that nice pass through there. You can even do 40-20-40 split fold. Come into the back as a 5'10" person. I've got a ton of knee room. I've got plenty of headroom. The seat recline is a little bit upright, so I could see somebody spending a lot of time back here getting a tad uncomfortable with that. Do have a center flip-down armrest. No sort of storage in here, but you do have some flimsy German-esque cup holders. In this executive trim, you have rear zone climate control as well. Some sunshades that come up, and on top of this standard style sunshade, a little mini one that comes up in the side. How nifty is that? Beautiful ambient lighting, as is commonplace for newer BMWs. Another thing I want to point out, look how large these executive style seats are. They look like office chairs. Very comfortable, very good at bolstering you in, and just straight up large. Take a quick peek at this ferocious 617 horse engine. Pop open the hood. You do see a little bit of plastic, but you also get to see a good amount of the engine. Dual intakes, those twin turbochargers powering this thing along. It looks good and it drives great. A little bit of an interior refresh for the 2021 5 Series. Not a whole bunch of interior space, but a plenty comfortable cab. Cup holders, wireless device charging. You do have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in this new model. I love BMW's iDrive. I love their gauge cluster as well. But enough yapping, let's start this thing up and get on the road. This garage will be excellent for starting this thing. Listen to that rumble. This thing's not quite up to temp yet, but when it does get up to temp, you get these amazing snap, crackle, burble pops. We'll see some of those here in a little bit. I really love how BMW has these M buttons, which allow you to customize whether you want a really sporty driving mode or a really soft, supple driving mode. It's just a button click away, right like that. I'm back into efficient engine, comfort suspension, comfort steering, very light, easy to drive, and straight up serene in here. And then as soon as you want to go full animal, you double tap that, you've got your stability control loosened, you've got the engine tuned way up, and you can launch it. I was a bit apprehensive getting into this M5 because the last time I drove this generation, I actually wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was manic. And the last time we were in the BMW M8 competition, I thought that car was manic as well. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't feel connected and at one with the vehicle. Like we were working as a team. It felt like I was working against the car, and the car was working against me. But I've been pleasantly surprised so far driving this M5 around in all sorts of different driving situations, in that it can be a livable daily driver type partner, and it can dance with you in some sporty driving as well. Mountains of torque coming from this engine. Does need to spool up a bit, but not nearly as much turbo lag as we experienced last week with the Audi RS6. Let's turn the exhaust in quiet mode, and then we really are quiet everything. I actually really like the steering in this car, which is amazing to say about a modern BMW. You don't feel much of the road, but the car does respond nicely to your steering inputs, more intuitively than a lot of modern BMWs. I will say, between this and the recent M3 and M4 that we drove, I'm gaining trust and confidence in BMW's M line. I was a bit worried there for a little while that they were really losing the driving feel behind their cars, but not as worried any longer. I also love the climate control layout, mixture of screen and controls. But enough jibber jabber, let's light this thing up. M button twice. And oh my gosh, the pull. The pull from this thing. The pull and the sounds. I love BMW M Performance exhausts so much. These Pirelli P0s provide an incredible amount of grip. The main reason I probably wouldn't want to buy one of these is just because here in America, unless you lived on a track, where would you get to exploit this sort of power? Because this isn't just launch you off the line sort of power like an electric vehicle. This is continue to pull like a freight train well above triple-digit speeds. And other than just cruising around your neighborhood and sounding like an absolute tool with this super loud exhaust, listen to this. Other than that, how are you really going to exploit this on a daily basis? Oh man. Oh, that's good family fun. And then, when you're ready to calm down, right there, you're back into quiet mode. You turn up this excellent Bowers & Wilkins audio system, of which we have a dedicated review. Check the link in the description for that. And you can cruise along the highway and get 27 miles per gallon as we tested in our highway fuel economy test. There's really not too much to not like about this as a daily driver, other than, of course, that spicy cost. This one we're driving right now, $141,000. So it's not for the faint of heart. You can get into an M5 in general for about $110,000. You pay a little bit more to get premium or the competition package, which gets you a little bit more horsepower and a few more go fast goodies. But for anyone just using this as a casual daily driver, especially here in America, the standard M5 would do you just fine. I would rather put that money into this executive package that we have, which gives you massaging and ventilated front seats, these excellent front seats. I'd pay extra for the Bowers & Wilkins audio system, which is not something I would typically say about a BMW. And I would just enjoy this 4.4 liter V8. Oh wow, a nice clean on-ramp. Lucky us. There is not a want for grip in the M5, that's for certain. Back into comfort mode, set the adaptive cruise control, which actually has a fairly good active lane keeping assist. We'll turn that on with the click of a button and see how it handles our highway corner. Now, this is interesting here because it splits off from one lane to two. It's always interesting to see how steering systems handle it. This one just completely gives up. And then let's see if it recatches the lines. Switch lanes here. There we go. Now that it knows where we're going, close the lane, nice and easy. And then you see it's flashing at me right now to keep my hands on the wheel. I just have to provide a little squeeze anywhere on the steering wheel, and it recognizes my input. Another party piece that the M5 comp has is two-wheel drive mode. So we can go right there, and then we're sending 617 horsepower simply to the rear wheels. And that is pretty darn crazy. And there's more traffic on this road than there typically is. But let's see what we can do here. There we go, losing grip. It's kind of amazing this thing can put down as much power as it can just to the rear wheels. Let's see here. Let's come to a stop. So this is just oh, that seat's still open. There we go. So this is just rear wheel drive launching. That was a straight up burnout. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did not expect that at all. I mean, I don't know why not. It makes sense. But two-wheel drive mode is certainly not for the faint of heart. I mean, look, I'm just going to breathe on the throttle. And I'm sideways. You'd be able to go through a set of tires so quick in two-wheel drive mode. I guess it wouldn't be a set, it would just be your rears. Let's get up to this next stop sign here and do a little slide out, and then we'll demonstrate the launch control, wrap this thing up. Let's get that four-wheel drive back in here. That is ignorant. Oh my gosh. I'm actually impressed by the ride in this thing. It is firm. It's not as supple as the Audi, that's for sure, even with the Audi's 22-inch wheels. But it's definitely livable for daily driving. So a quick launch control start for y'all. For launch control, I've got the stability and four-wheel drive sport, and interestingly, you have to have the transmission in manual mode, which doesn't make much sense to me because it shifts for you, but here we go. Oh, man. This car has been a total grin factory from my first drive with it. And days in, it still delivers. And I am happy with BMW M cars again. Very much. Let's get a few more pops in. Back to comfort mode. Listen how quick it settles down. That's great. So are there any reasons for you to avoid the M5? Well, we're not getting the world's best fuel economy, but that's pretty much just from laying into the throttle all the time, averaging 9.4 miles per gallon over the last 72 miles. Other than that, interior storage could be a little better. I mean, this is just about all you get. You get that center console, you do have a glove box. I suppose there's a decent amount of storage in the door pockets. Not too crazy, but some vehicles offer you a little bit more in the center console. Other than that, it would be really, really tough. I'd have to have this versus the E63S back-to-back, but my impressions from the 2021 E-Class were not as strong as my impressions of this 5 Series, which is neat because it was certainly flip-flopped a few years ago. Yes, not a bad job, BMW. Not bad. All right, the BMW M5, coming a long way to actually be a good BMW M car. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the M5, we've got that Bowers & Wilkins audio system test, a highway fuel economy test, and a little live drive fun with this car. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.